Hello everyone, back tuning into today's video. We're going to have a look at weather next week's 10 days. In today's video, this will take us to the start of December. We go to the first day of December with this update up to day 10. So it looks like we're going to be in for some colder weather from the weekend and into next week. There might even be a little bit of wintry stuff around on Saturday over high ground through parts of northern England, Wales, possibly down into the North Midlands. We might see a bit of sleet and snow. And then I think it'll keep it quite cold into next week as well. So overall, it's a pretty wintry outlook as we get beyond this week and into weekend and through to next week. I'll show you what's going on in a second. Just say I'm not including the CFS V2 for next month in this update because there's a lot to discuss and we haven't really got time to get ready. I might include that in tomorrow's video. I'll see. So just say as well that the Christmas shop is open. So you got any Christmas shop to do at Amazon between now and Christmas. Click the green button that says Gaz Christmas Shop. It takes you to our Christmas shop page. Then from there you go through the Amazon banners, do your Christmas shopping at Amazon as normal. Christmas gone from Gaz Service to Amazon. We get revenue fee on the Christmas presents that you are buying. Got a live event coming up on Friday. Myself and Quantum are going live for the first time this year. We're going to be starting at 7 o'clock this 7 o'clock on Friday evening. You'll be able to see that and listen to that here at GazOviz and ask comments in the comment box on Twitter, all of that kind of thing. So it'll be interactive. You'll also be able to have a listen to it on Quantum's YouTube page as well. So that'll be coming up on Friday evening. I'll talk a bit more about that later on in the week. Going to start off with the Central England temperature. So it's updated from Hadley provisional to yesterday, 20th of November. With just 10 days left of the month, we are standing at 7.8, an anomaly of just over half a degree above average. That's probably going to tick up more over the next couple of days because we are in a very mild flow of air at the moment, but then as we run towards the end of the month, we can expect that to cool down again. So we're probably going to finish up somewhere, I would say, around mid to high 7s, so around 7.5 to perhaps 7.8 or 7.9. In the end, I don't think you're going to have too big a deviation anyway in terms of November's overall temperature. Talked about this yesterday, but I'll just tell you what's going on with the latest. So these are stratospheric temperatures at 30 HPA over the North Pole. The grey line here tells us what the temperature should be doing at 30 HPA at this time of the year. The black line where temperatures are, and we are colder than average, quite substantially so now over the pole at 30 HPA, which is one of the higher levels of the atmosphere in the stratosphere. GFS is beginning to pick up the idea of a bit of a warming starting to take place. So I'll run you through the extended part of the GFS. Remember, this is in the unreliable time frame of the model, so it's as prone to chopping and changing as all of the other output that we see in the unreliable time frame of the model. But it is cropping up with fairly frequent, with a fairly high frequency over the past day or so. By the way, these blue and purple colours, those are the cold temperatures in the stratosphere over the North Pole. They're still there up to the end of November. That's the 1st of December just there. Still quite cold, very cold actually, to 10 HPA over North Pole. But as we run through to the extended part of the model, so we're going up around the 6th, 7th. You see these yellow colours starting to appear here. Now, that is not a sudden stratospheric warming, so don't get excited about that. It's not the red colours appearing. It's a fairly minor warming. The reason it's significant is that it's very early to be seen. That what tends to happen before you get a sudden stratospheric warming, you often have several goes at it. So you'll warm the temperature in the stratosphere over North Pole, and then you'll cool it down a little bit, then you'll warm it up again, and then cool it down, then warm it up again, then cool it down, and then finally you might get to that sudden stratospheric warming. So this could be the start, because it is very early. This could be the start of, perhaps by the time you get through to January, chances that we might get a genuine sudden stratospheric warming, which has been a long time since we had one. The last time we had one was in the middle of the winter, was back in 2013. This is how a sudden stratospheric warming looks like. This is what it looks like. This is January the 1st. 2013, you see these red colours here over Siberia. Those are very warm temperatures in the stratosphere. And what happened in the first week of January 2013 is that those red colours penetrated into the pole. Temperatures shot up in 2 or 3 days, and basically we obliterated the polar vortex. So by the time we get through beyond the first week of January, you can see the way those blue colours are just splitting and sinking down into America, down into southern Europe as well. And essentially over the pole we have totally destroyed the polar vortex. And eventually this culminated in that extraordinarily cold March of 2013. Before that, cold was on and off through January and February, but we did eventually get to a very, very extreme level of northern blocking. Not every stratospheric warming works out like that, though, of course, so it's not a guarantee, even when you go to this sort of level with the temperature in the stratosphere over North Pole. It's not a guarantee that you are going to get extreme blocking and very cold weather, but it is one of the things that we watch out for. This very minor warming, really, compared to that. It might be the start of a trend to begin to warm up the stratosphere over the next couple of weeks, possibly culminating in a proper SSW later on in the winter. We'll keep an eye out for that. Right, GFS ensembles data. So we're looking at Harrogate in the northeast of England today. The red line here is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Harrogate at this time of the year. And you see that right now we are very substantially above average. You're going to stay that way for the next 24 hours. But from Thursday onwards, the temperatures are starting to drop. By the weekend, we're going colder than average. And then overall, we're staying quite cold, really, through to the start of December. Dates are on the bottom. That's 1st of December just there. And generally, the trend of an ensemble is certainly to keep those temperatures under average. So it does look as though once we get this warm stuff out of the way in the next couple of days, we are going quite cold and possibly staying quite cold for a little while. Plenty of precipitation coming up as well. That's quite unusual because when you turn things colder, normally it gets drier because cold air holds less moisture. So very often when the temperatures go cold, it also becomes dry, but not the case this time actually. So we've got plenty of rainfall coming up with this warmer weather over the next couple of days in Harrogate, but even with this colder stuff, we've got plenty of rainfall spikes coming through, and there might be some wintry potential in with those rainfall spikes, particularly around the weekend. So around this period just here, so the 25th of, so that's a bit wrong, let's highlight that again. So 25th just there with this precipitation spike just here, there might be some wintry potential in with that. This is how the surface temperatures and air pressure are looking at Harrogate. So we're starting off at a relatively warm level, really, with the temperature above 10 degrees Celsius, keeping it at that level, maybe even increasing it a little bit over the next couple of days. But then at the end of the week, there's the slide in the temperatures becoming cold. That's 5 degrees Celsius just then. And you see at Harrogate by the weekend into next week, we're seeing temperatures staying below 5 degrees Celsius. And then we keep things pretty cold, really, as we go through next week as well. Also an increasing risk of night frost. These are the minimum temperatures just here. You see they are sliding away. In fact, there are a few members that are going down to a very cold level by sort of start of December, going down to or even below -5. Air pressure is a bit of a mess, so we're starting off with fairly low pressure and turning very low the pressure next couple of days, going down to 980 millibars. Bit of a recovery in pressure takes place through the weekend into next week, and then probably dropping the pressure once again. And if we have a quick look at this chart, so this is depicting snow potential at Harrogate. So I'm going to see if I can find it. There we go. So these are snow spikes. This is a snow row, if you like. And it's this period just here where we've got these spikes. That's telling us that several members of the GFS ensembles are producing snow at Harrogate around the 25th of November. That's Saturday. So that is something to watch out for. We may well have a little bit of a dusting of snow over higher ground of northern England as we get through to Saturday. We'll have to firm up on that. Temperature anomalies for next week. Let's go from the 21st, 29th of November. They're coming out still warmer than average. It's skewed by the warm temperatures got at the moment, and will keep until Thursday at least. And then I suspect later in the week we'll find these cooling down. Precipitation anomalies from the 23rd, 29th of November coming out wetter than average, so warm and wet for the next few days, and then probably cold and wet from the weekend. This is how the GFS is looking for Friday then, and this is when we're introducing the cold air down from the north. We've got this area of low pressure just here, but it's trying to keep this warm, very mild air going. So there's a battle going on between the two air masses Friday and into Saturday. The cold air will win that battle. By the time you go through to 6 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, we've got an area of low pressure centred across England and Wales. The cold air is on the northern and western side of this low pressure. There's a lot of heavy rain associated with that low pressure as well. There's the upper air temperature, so quite a warm upper air temperature in the southeast on Saturday morning, but the -5 ice swell is digging into northern England and Wales at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then that pushes eastwards through the Midlands into eastern parts of England through the course of Saturday afternoon. There's the precipitation at 9 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. It is looking quite wet, and then later on we'll take that rainfall out into the North Sea of this area of low pressure, and then the cold air comes through the whole of the country. I can show you the precipitation type forecast from the Weather Outlook so you can see this in detail. So this is starting at 3 o'clock in the morning on Friday when it's mainly dry. As we run through Friday morning, it turns wet across much of England and Wales, so by the end of Friday afternoon it's tipping down with rain across many parts of England and Wales. That rain stays with us into Friday evening, and then overnight, this is when we start to see a bit of wintry potential. So very wet across much of England and Wales. These yellow colours are quite torrential bursts of rain, and you'll see that white shaded area appearing across northern England. That's over the Pennines. At 3 o'clock in the morning, it's suggesting rain starting to turn to snow. And then by 6 o'clock in the morning, that snowy area is getting more widespread. So through parts of Wales, particularly the Welsh mountains, and up to the Pennines, quite a bit of heavy snow. And then through the morning of Saturday, we just see more and more of that rain turning to snow through northern England, down into Wales, into parts of the Midlands too. Those purple colours are there, indicating some quite heavy outbreaks of snow possible over the highest hills of northern England, North Wales and the North Midlands. By the end of Saturday afternoon, all that wintry weather is clearing out of the way. Now, that looks like quite a widespread dumping of snow for northern England, Wales, much of the Midlands on Saturday morning. It won't be as widespread as that, or I would have thought it's going to be as widespread as that. Expect perhaps a covering of snow, though, over high ground, so places like Buxton and the tops of the Pennines could get snow with this. And down at lower levels, probably a wintry mix of rain and sleet. But obviously we'll be keeping an eye on it over the next few days anyway. So we go through to Sunday and we're in this cold northwesterly wind. Let's try and make some progress. Go through into Monday, and a new area of low pressure is coming in from the west. That probably brings a milder day on Monday with more rain. But look what happens with that low pressure. Again, it slips away to the east. The winds go back into the north, so we get a renewed shot of air from the north. This time more northeasterly, with the air beginning to push out of Scandinavia through to the middle part of next week. Still cold though. And then we do it all over again into the second half of next week. So we back the wind into the west by Friday. This is day 10, Friday 1st December. Back in the winds into the west, becoming a little bit less cold for a time. But this area of low pressure around Iceland, look where that's going to go just beyond day 10. It dives south across England and Wales. Eventually, we finish up turning winds into the east. When you start seeing these areas of low pressure diving south from Iceland, it's always a sign that the atmosphere is acting up, if you like. So the jet stream is doing something like that, which is very unusual, and that is one of the things that we look out for, possibly as a precursor to quite cold weather when it happens at this time of the year. So eventually, beyond day 10, we finish up putting in these cold easterly winds again. Finally, the east end, we've also got these cold northerly winds coming through on Friday. Now, on Saturday, it doesn't have that secondary area of low pressure and the battle, so I don't think the east end of the earth is going for the chance of rain and snow across England and Wales on Saturday. It's just pulling down this cold northwesterly wind with wintry showers in the north and west. We get through to Sunday, the winds are still in from the north. Then it's a bit milder or less cold on Monday, with this area of low pressure bringing rain in from off the Atlantic. But that quickly pushes eastward, so by Tuesday next week, the winds are returning back into the north again, a renewed shot of northerly winds. And then we keep it quite cold going up towards day 10. This takes us to day 10. Which is going to be the 1st of December, and yes, the winds are still coming in from the north or northeasterly direction. It's possible that beyond that we would start to roll in some milder air from over the top of that high pressure. Not sure about that if we would or not. It's also possible that this area of low pressure around Iceland would do what the GFS is showing and be pushed off in that sort of direction and just pull the winds back into the north again. Inconclusive, really, but certainly up to day 10, we've got plenty of cold weather to be going on with. Don't be expecting widespread snow and blizzards. It's still too early in the season for that. There's a bit of wintry potential, as we just saw, for parts of the country, limited areas on Saturday, but the overall feel is going to be quite cold, and what the charts are doing, or I should say what the pressure is doing, is quite interesting. As I say, we get these diving areas of low pressure moving out of Iceland and finishing up somewhere over Italy, particularly at this time of year, just before winter. It can sometimes be a sign that the atmosphere is acting strangely, it's acting up, and that can be a precursor to colder winter weather. So we'll be keeping you updated with all changes over the next few days. So keep checking back for more. Very interesting time that we're going into right now. And that's all for now. And thanks for watching.